feel bad for you, Josh. But I really truly appreciate you being here, man.
Jesse and I, we both live in Los Angeles, and I'm glad. Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
It's also kind of a great distraction.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah,
Well, I've been using the music as a distraction for a long, long time of life.
Yeah, I think most of us probably have. Yeah.
Sad but true, Yeah, it's weird, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Actually, it was Fred Durst that put it into words.
Hit me with it.
Running from reality, chasing dreams.
Deep.
Dude.
He also put it into words when he said,
"Did
it all for the nook."
Yeah.
I grew up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I used to watch Limp Bizkit play Battle of the Bands for like $2.
You serious?
And lose. They would always lose.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck? Really?
Yeah.
Josh was hating him from the beginning.
Perfect.
All right, so remember that.
Okay, good. So this is like real. You have an actual like opinion because you were there and you saw it from the start.
I saw it, but they made it to the top.
Yeah.
Good for them,
He's done some funny shit for sure.
Yeah.
That makes me go like, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I like when people do funny things. It's awesome.
Yeah, comedy's cool.
Isn't it? Laughing is the best.
Laughing, coming, shitting. There's like the 3 top things.
Well, what about eating and sleeping?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
If I could eat while I sleep,
That's a
then
top
I would
5.
be the best.
But don't you eat when you sleep and because you're dreaming and you're eating when you're dreaming.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah,
Is that another?
Oh, sorry.
You're going in the spiritual world for us. We don't take mushrooms, bro.
Is that another Limp Bizkit?
No, that was just me pre-coffee talking.
I like it.
Hey, Jay, are we chugging?
We're rolling.
Chugging? Okay, cool. Stick to your guns. Thank you for being here. I'm honored. Especially with the times that you guys are going through currently. So I appreciate you making the time.
Absolutely,
Thanks
brother.
for having us.
So how close do you guys live to the fires?
I live.
Josh was the closest. It started. We were at a rehearsal in Pasadena, and then we were leaving 2 hours early, actually. And we just looked outside, and the whole sky was red. We were like, "Yeah, we should probably get out of here." And then
My wife is typically not someone who's like super alarmed, and she never calls me because she doesn't want to talk to me.
Okay.
And so we're at practice, and Adam goes, "Hey, Fern just called me," and I was like, "What?" It's like, what the hell's going on between you two?
Yeah.
I look at my phone, there's like 7 missed calls, and we call her, and she's like, "Hey, you guys are in an evacuation area." And we're just like jamming out. We're like, we got to get these new songs down, ready for the record release show. And then we walked outside, and Jesse's like, the sky's glowing. And then we're like, you know what? We know how to play our instruments. And so we packed up, and Chris and I actually, like, on the way back to my house, like, saw, the Eaton fire. So we saw that, and it was just like
gnarly.
Yeah, it was just so like surreal.
on the 134, when I was driving home, I had to go around trees in the middle of the freeway.
Yeah,
it was
we were
like,
coming home.
and then behind you see the fire. It's like apocalyptic vibes.
Yeah, it's like an apocalyptic war zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
not chill.
Yeah, it's not chill at all.
So like my thank
Those
God
vibes.
that like my house isn't in that area, and it's like my heart goes. We have a lot of friends that live in Altadena and Pasadena, and they've lost their homes, and it's like horrific. And the same thing with the Pacific Palisades. Some friends that live out near that area that have been heavily affected and have lost their places, and it's super tragic. I think Jesse and I are both extremely thankful that as of now, nothing's happened to our homes. Yesterday morning, which was the morning after the first night of when the fire started, Chris and Adam were staying at my house, and like I woke up at 6 a.m. from the smoke, like inside the house.
Are you serious?
And so like I woke up, and if I'm laying in my bed and I look straight, there's the curtains that go there's doors to my backyard.
Yeah.
And so I could see just underneath the curtains, and the sun was coming up, but it was coming up through the smoke clouds, so it looked like flames to me. And I was like, oh fuck, it's here. And so I'm butt ass naked. I jump out the bed, and I open up the curtains, and then thank God that it wasn't like that. And then, but yeah, I mean, we could smell smoke inside the house, and then you open up the door, and it's just like ash is falling.
Yeah, ash is falling from the sky.
But still, that's not even. I mean, that's not even
Yeah.
the tip of the iceberg. You know, like looking at some of these pictures right here, it's like this is
Yeah,
just
these pictures are
It's terrible.
horrific.
brutal.
It seems like, you know, movie set or something that happens in a different life or some post-apocalyptic shit, and it's just so crazy. Jesse and I were talking about earlier, where it's like, you know, I love Los Angeles, and so many people do, and it's crazy because it's so easy to complain about things, or to a perfect example is like you're driving down the PCH and you see all these big beautiful houses on the side of the beach. Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, these rich people, blah, 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 with their houses. And then it's like burnt to the ground. And you're like, holy fuck, I didn't even realize that added to this like beauty and this magic of this place. You know, that those are such like identifiable buildings, or, you know, all this stuff. You know, we were just talking about the Will Rogers historic house being burned down. And so it's just, you know, and all these businesses, you know, there's all these restaurants and bars and stuff that I think are really like staples in the community. That's where people go to congregate and spend time together. And, you know, all those small, you don't really realize that all of those small little things add up to the community that you love. And so it's very emotionally confusing, I think, to see it all just like get destroyed like this, especially whenever there's nothing that you can actually do. You know, it's a wildfire.
It's a wildfire.
And then, you know, there are also, you know, we've seen there's been people posting on Instagram of like these fucking assholes like going around trying to light bushes on fire and like Silver.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Silver
People
Lake.
matter. Oh god.
Silver Lake, Elysian Park, and then, you know, so like there's,
Oh, my
you know, so it's just like, it's just kind of chaos. So,
Yeah, it's gnarly up there.
It's chaos.
yeah. So hoping that
I'm not laughing about tragedy. When he went to type in people lighting fires, the first thing that
Just
popped
a
up
guy in
was
the
people
woods.
lighting their farts on fire. Suggestions.
Well, that's a classic joke.
Yeah, it is.
That-
Very
yeah,
classic.
that is a good one.
Yeah. It is
You
good.
said something. Actually, I never heard someone say this before, Josh. Emotionally confusing.
Yeah.
I never heard someone say that.
Yeah, that might
It's
be
true,
because
huh?
I might be emotionally disconnected.
Oh,
So
Sure.
no, I've been, now that I think
No,
about it, I
it
think
is.
I've been emotionally confused because you're like, well, something's happening to you, then you're like, what am I feeling?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's like,
that is
am I-
emotional
Am I
confusion.
sad? Am I mad? You know,
Dude, for real, man.
Am I confused?
Yes.
You know, and then every time you speak with a friend, or maybe you
That's
open up
true.
Instagram and you look at what's going on in like people's lives that you're connected to, and you're just like, when it's something that's so like unfathomably tragic like this, it's just it's emotionally confusing.
It's true.
And I think Jesse is probably the most equipped out of everybody with this, because I feel like you deal with emotionally confusing things like every day.
For sure.
You know, from running All Power.
Oh, no doubt.
You know,
I mean, so I run like a community space down the street from where I live, and so we were there all day, just like handing out supplies and things like that. And then when we got home, literally on the drive home, Josh is like, "Yo, Runyon Canyon's on fire," and that's close to where I live. And I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" So we started looking at it, and then I literally park on my street, and we get out, and I'm just like looking at the flames like right there. So then we packed up all of our animals and dipped down to OC, because it was just, we were gonna wait until like we were in an official evacuation zone. But as Josh can attest, because we live in the area where Josh, when he first moved to LA 10 plus years ago, whatever it is now, the streets get congested for nothing. You know what I mean?
course.
Like the gridlock in the area that is in, that we live, it's, you know what I mean? If there's a trash can in the road, it's a
over.
mile backed
It's
up.
over, yeah.
So I was watching the evacuation zone get closer, and I was going outside to see if I could see anything, and every street was gridlocked, and I was like, we should probably go now instead of waiting until it's, you know what I mean? So, you know, we weren't in an official evacuation zone, but I was like, let's just get the fuck out of here and go down to Orange County.
Yeah.
And my mom has an apartment that's about the size of this room. And so there was 3 people, my big 70-pound pitty,
Oh, perfect.
and 3 cats. So it was a royal rumble all night, and I didn't sleep at all.
Oh no.
I fell asleep at like 7 a.m. or whatever and got like 2 hours or something. So.
It's funny when you need to do something really important sometimes the night before you don't get any sleep, and the next day you're just like, wow, this is what life's all about.
Well, because also the thing that makes it even more confusing is like we're dealing with all of this, and then we're also like, oh yeah, we have a record release show tomorrow, and then we fly to Europe the next day. It's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, so it almost feels like, for me, it almost feels like inappropriate. You know, to be like, hey guys, hello.
Yeah, like our friends
Check
and
out
our
this
families
record.
are on fire, and we're like, feels weird flying away and
Yeah.
like, talking about anything besides what we, it's okay. It's a gnarly kind of.
It's just
weird.
It's emotionally confusing.
Full circle. Yeah, it's I was just thinking that right now because I want to plug in your record now before I always forget. I'll do it in the very end. So
sure.
So you guys are dropping a record. Well, now by the time this is out, it's already out.
Yeah.
So keep Planting Flowers out now. So it kind of went full circle. You're talking about that, and then you guys you need to promote a record.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks, dude. It sucks. Dude.
But let's also do that.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Let's also definitely do that.
But dude, it's weird. It messes with your mind when something is going on at home. Sometimes more serious than others, and you're leaving. You have to leave.
No, sure. I mean,
it's weird. And it doesn't get easier. It's weird.
My mom, who is always such a big inspiration for me in a lot of the things that I do in my lyrics or whatever. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? She's the one who pointed out the record cover and like the artwork to us.
Oh
being
my
like,
gosh.
Yo, this is a little crazy. You know what I mean? And so
weird.
I literally didn't even think.
Yeah,
This is bizarre.
This just blew my
I didn't
mind.
think of this. I
So
didn't
if you're
think of this.
listening, the back of the vinyl is almost like a B cover, and it's the globe on fire.
So yeah, she was like, you know, she was just like saying like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. Like, look at your cover, but also like how, you know, and I know my mom has to say nice things because, you know, she loves me or whatever, but she was just like, that's stick to your guns on the front. You know what I mean? Like this horrible shit's happening, and we just gotta put our gas mask on and keep doing something and keep building and creating and trying to grow things, because it's like our other option is just to sit and look at the smoldering pile of fucking shit, or we can throw a couple seeds in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See what comes out and see what else we can grow and build. So but yeah, sometimes I'm so close to a thing that I don't even realize the other things that people see and connect to the world around what's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's right in your face.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then like someone has to like point out, hey, you know, so if you're just listening, so just what Josh just said, it's like the alternate cover is literally the world on fire. That's so bizarre.
When I first showed it to someone, they thought it was the world with Donald Trump's hair.
If you kind of squint, if you kind of squint,
Dude, we're gonna do an alternate version of that.
Hey, you know, art is in the eye of the beholder,
Yeah,
so
true,
whatever you want to
true.
see, I guess. Fucking.
well, if there's any band that could pull that off, I would say it sticks to your guns.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Fuck.
So
That's not
sick.
what it is, though. So yeah.
Are you sure you guys don't do mushrooms or anything? No? You sure?
Yeah, we definitely don't.
So is your whole band straight edge?
I'm straight edge.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole band straight edge.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know, dude. I'm asking questions. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm trying to find out more about you guys.
So I'm what's known as a sellout.
Okay. Yeah.
It had to come out one way or another. It might as well be on the Garza.
Don't worry.
Garza podcast.
We've already beat it. We've already beat his ass.
Yeah. Freudian slip. Yeah, I got the shit beat out of me.
Oh my goodness.
No, not really.
Blood in, blood out.
You know, it was funny because legitimately, like, I was scared to tell everybody.
Yeah. How do you bring it up?
And obviously, the person I was most scared with, I went in order of least scary. So I started with our drummer, who's no longer in the band, and then I ended with Josh. And so I kind of just went down. And then when I told Josh, I was so scared, blah, blah, and his response was basically like, hey, you're a grown man, and I'm a grown man. Why are you wasting my time with this? You're my friend, and I love you no matter what. But
I woke up at like 7:15 a.m. to a text like the length of Lord of the Rings.
Did you text it?
Yeah,
I texted. I was in Mexico at the time. We were getting ready to fly
but
out
I was
to a
like,
European
I was
tour.
also like, when I saw the text, I was like, here we go. Something
Something
so
else, yeah.
bad has happened. Like the band's over. You know, like I don't know what's.
When you see a long text, you get a little like that little feeling. It's like, oh, is this
because
gonna be?
it's triggering because I used to years ago before I met my wife, I was in a relationship that was filled with a lot of long
Oh
texts.
no!
And let me tell you.
One of those texts.
So now,
Yeah.
so now I'm like, it's like PTSD. If I get a long text, or like if it says like 19 text messages by the same person, I'm like,
no.
oh
One of
God,
those relationships?
Here we go. And so I thought that was Jesse's, and I was like, what have I done now? And then actually, what I replied back with was a couple of days before he sent me the text, me and some friends like had like a picnic. You know, it was like a Sunday, nice day. We're like, oh, let's grab some food and go chill at a park. And there's this, I live in Highland Park, and there's this old school soda pop store by my house. It's called Galco's.
Okay.
And it sells like all these different sodas from all over the world. And it's like super like 50s doo-wop vibe inside, and has all this like candy like Cracker Jacks and blah, blah, blah. And we found candy. Yeah, there it is. We found candy cigarettes. And so we were at the park, like smoking, quote unquote, smoking candy cigarettes, like fucking just being dumbasses.
So it's candy though.
Yeah, or bubblegum cigarettes. So it's like gum in the shape of a. You ever had those when you were a kid?
Not shaped like a cigarette.
It's
no.
like-
You never had a bubblegum cigarette pack?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
plastic.
It's
Bro,
like,
what?
Dude, they're so cool. It's like I think they're called Roundup.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah,
There's a
there's
whole
like
bunch of them?
there's
Really?
like Roundup. Yeah, there is Roundup.
Roundup? What?
right?
Oh, that looks scary.
Yeah.
Cigarettes for kids,
It
bro.
looks cool.
That is fucked.
Because like smoking does look cool.
It does, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it
does.
And like whenever you puff on it, there's like
Dust or
It's
something.
like dust, like it's like sugar powder that like comes out. So we're grown men.
This is kind of fucked up. Now,
This is
oh yeah, it's super fucked
It was
up.
so normal when we were kids. I'm like, what?
So we're grown men
Awesome.
walking on a park on a Sunday, like, and me and my friend Gino had like snapped a picture of us. So when I got that huge text from Jesse, I just responded with that picture, but in invisible ink, and I just said, "We all have our secrets." That was my response to the text.
There was a nicer, longer response after that, but for sure, that was my
What?
breaking it to everyone. I actually never officially told Adam.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, I just showed up to my first Euro tour, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, part of the decision of me joining the band was like, oh, I'm joining like a straight edge band. Sick.
That was also one of the reasons why we were like, all right, this guy works. He's straight edge.
Yeah, and then I show up, and first day, he's just ripping a J with our fucking front of house guy behind the bus, and I'm like, oh, cool, like, or whatever.
Here's the thing.
Hell.
People often want to know what my hottest take is. Weed straight edge.
Yeah,
It should be.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
Every straight edge kid I know
Call me
needs
old
it.
fashioned.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I hear stories of actually, Josh. Maybe you can actually add to this. Like, was it? It was Keith from Throwdown. He would say that they would go to Florida, and they would X up, and they would be smoking cigarettes in front of him.
I don't know about that.
No?
I saw some shit like that in Pennsylvania one.
Yeah, I grew,
Oh,
I
okay.
grew up.
Can someone explain to me? I'm not sure if I'm understanding what he's saying.
He's saying that Keith said he believes that Keith said that whenever Throwdown would go on tour and they would go to Florida, they would see people Xing up.
Oh, and
And then
smoke.
smoke.
But-
And I tried to
but
claim
they're
it
also
straight
some-
edge.
What if they were just at a bar though, and they had
like
X's
X's, just- yeah.
because they couldn't drink?
No, I
Yeah.
think there were legit X's.
Growing
Yeah.
up,
I'm not gonna look like Sharpie X.
I'm gonna say
They're-
something.
they're bold.
I'm gonna
X.
say something my dad said to me growing up.
Okay.
I believe that you believe that.
Fair enough. Fair enough,
yeah,
man.
I grew up in Florida and I never saw that.
Okay.
There were a couple of occasions where someone would put an O on their hand,
I see. I remember the O. Yeah.
and then they would just get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, I owe up now.
By the,
They X up.
by
I
the
owe
people
up.
with the X's on their hands.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure that this is the O that we're speaking of.
It might be. Honestly, who cares?
How long were you straight edge?
My whole life,
Whole life.
from 0 to 33.
It's a while.
Yeah.
33 years, nothing.
Yep.
What made you?
33? I don't think I found out till you were 35.
It's possible.
Yeah. What made you try weed?
So my brother's been a stoner my entire life, and he was actually. My brother might have been in the band like OG Suicide Silence, Stick to Your Guns days. I wouldn't expect you to remember anything like that, but he was really. I got prescribed like an anti-anxiety medication.
Okay.
And he was basically like, "Look, I respect, all your shit, but you should really try this first before you try that."
Try weed.
Yeah, exactly. And so we started with like tinctures and all the like hippy dippy kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
it was I found it incredibly helpful because I couldn't sleep, waking up in the sweats. I mean, it's not something that we all haven't experienced, but it got to a point where it was so bad that I was like, I think I might need to see someone. And
Driven to madness by anxiety.
exactly. So and it's not like a cure-all by any means. Like you still have to like work on it. But as I'm sure they can all tell you, my brain sometimes like goes at like 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's hard to slow down.
Exactly. And so when I smoke it like slows that down, so I'm able to like think a little clearer. You know what I mean?
Clearer, really?
Yeah, way clearer.
Whoa.
Way clearer. Way clearer.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, and I would actually say, like, I mean this in no disrespect.
Sure, absolutely.
But I think this is the best version of Jesse Barnett I've ever known.
I tell that to everybody.
Yeah.
People wish I would have started smoking way earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
when was
emotionally confusing for me.
this is a very confusing podcast. It's fine. Okay, so how long ago was this?
33.
Okay. So how?
I'm this is the side effect. This is the
You're
downside.
37, right?
How old am I?
But yeah,
wow.
37. Yeah.
Wow.
And another just like a funny little thing is how high my tolerance is. Just like out of
Out of the gate.
like
Out of the
really
gates,
a
dude.
problem. Yeah. It's like I can't do edibles or things like that. They just do not work.
It don't work?
I have to take like 80 milligrams in order for me to feel something.
80?
Yeah. Whoa. And that's too expensive, bro. That's too expensive for me.
Oh, your band's crazy, man. Wow.
Band?
Yeah.
No, they're normal. They take 0 milligrams.
Wow.
You're taking all the milligrams for
Exactly. I have to take everybody's milligrams.
Okay, yes, you guys already answered my my next question. How is it seeing someone straight edge for so many years? I mean, you guys are legit lifers, and then you see someone smoke, and then you see the change.
I mean, actually emotionally confusing,
Yeah.
because it's just like, oh shit, like there's no doubt about it that I can, if I was to A/B Jesse, before and after, I'm like, oh yeah, like he's just I feel like he's even taking care of himself better, but like his attitude, his interactions, his ability to communicate, like everything, is so much better. And I don't mean that in any
Of course.
bad way towards your old self, because obviously I became friends with your old self. I was like, wow, there's a better version inside of it.
Sure.
There's old Jesse already. Wow.
And so I'm like, maybe I should do PCP, because like, what could we unlock in me?
Josh on PCP
Wow.
is bananas.
Josh on
That's
PCP,
baloney.
that's peak Florida man.
Yeah, Fox. Yeah,
exactly
bro.
what it is.
He'll save Florida by himself. Dude.
I mean, the thing is I have only ever known non-straight edge Jesse, and I love him dearly. So I don't really care necessarily about past straight edge Jesse, because I've made such a good friend
Sure.
that's stoner Jesse. There's only a handful of people where I would genuinely care if they broke edge.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I've had so many friends that have, I just don't give a fuck. It's like, it's your
Am I
life.
one?
Yeah, for sure. I've got literally maybe like, there's genuinely probably 3 or 4 people where I would be heartbroken if they actually did. Everyone else, I just don't care. Like, it's your life. Do whatever the fuck you want,
It's good.
Interesting.
We're adults.
Yeah, we're all growing up.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly.
We're all growing up, and opinions change, our life changes. So one time you have no kids. Some of you guys have kids. It's just like
Exactly.
life changes.
Chris actually grows weed.
Yeah.
I have grown up. For sport.
Chris wasn't always straight edge either.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
smoke weed. I loved acid.
That's actually the biggest advocates for straight edge. It's
Chris?
like he was knee deep in it. He was knee deep in the
wouldn't say-
mind altering.
I wouldn't say
game,
knee
bro.
You ever seen White Boy Rick?
Based after him, bro.
Yeah.
And then he went straight edge.
Okay.
He went the other way.
Yeah. What made you go straight edge, Chris?
I just honestly, I was smoking enough weed that I felt like I wasn't getting high anymore, and I was just getting burnt. Like I would smoke weed and then immediately just go, I'm not doing anything.
Oh yeah.
You know? And then
yeah.
I felt not productive.
opposite effect.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it stopped feeling fun and it started feeling dark.
I do know a lot of people like that. So it's like
So-
that happens. I don't think anyone's like, what's it called? Immune to that. You know what I mean? You definitely have to have I try to have like a regiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I call it my medicine.
Medicine. Yeah, call it the medicine. It is.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah.
Well, it's cool. I mean, I haven't been straight edge for let's see, I'm 39 now. I was broke edge when I was 21. So
Classic.
We'll beat your ass after
that's
this.
classic.
Good one. That's like now I can drink. All right, let's party.
Yeah.
Cliche. You know, well, when you're a kid and you see, like going to showcase and chain, you see like people straight edge. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was kind of following, but in a positive light, it kept me out of trouble.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say like
It did keep me out of like some serious trouble.
sometimes like a situation like that, like also when you're a kid, you don't know who you are yet,
No.
right? So like whether or not you think that you're like I'm paving my own way, you're most likely mimicking something because you're trying. That's how you figure out who you are, you know, like what you connect to. I think there's a lot of people that when they were younger, they were influenced to become straight edge for whatever reason, whether that's a band or a older sibling or friends or whatever. And then eventually one day they're like, oh, this isn't who I am. And, maybe they don't even like consciously understand that, right?
Sure.
Because it's like over a matter of time, we all change, but especially when you're young, I think you're just trying to figure out who you are. And sometimes you figure it out younger and sometimes you figure it out when you're older, but still, it's like, you being straight edge till you're 21, that's could have been a good thing because maybe
Totally.
you wouldn't have,
Totally.
maybe otherwise you would have had a drinking problem at 17 or some shit.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
I've already done something stupid.
Yeah.
One of my favorite straight edge stories that I always tell is I used to go to Comic-Con in San Diego back in the days when you could just like roll up and just buy a ticket at the fucking window. You know what I mean?
Humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag. But there was the author of. Will you look up actually real quick I can't remember his fucking name right now. Grant Morrison, I want to say Arkham Asylum.
Good memory. Grant Morrison.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that's
He
him.
just
So,
says it.
so he's like
Who's this guy?
He's like a Scottish dude, and he wrote
kinda handsome.
he wrote a Batman book called the Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
And on the back of the comic, I remember when I was younger, I was reading it, and he said that he grew up in the Scottish punk scene, and him and all of his friends were straight edge. So when he wrote this, I think this was written in like the 80s. It's really dark and it's really twisted. And he said in order to achieve the like mental fucked upness of writing the book, he would just stay up for days at a time because he didn't partake in drinking or smoking or
This guy rocks.
so yeah, how sick is that? How sick is that? So I was straight edge at the time. So he was doing a signing, and I went to him. There's a photo, like a not a Polaroid, but like an actual photo. You had to go to Target and get
Sure.
of me talking with him. And I asked him, I was like, I read this thing. Are you still straight edge? And he was like, I'm not still straight edge, but like it was by and far the most important part of my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And like I owe so much to that and shit. And he gave me this awesome answer, and I was like, that's how I feel. Like I'm glad I didn't start when I was a kid younger, because I would have for sure abused the absolute fuck out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
feel you on that.
I'm glad I waited till I was older to like be able to kind of,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that before you met him, you stayed up for days.
I mean, tour. Fuck.
Dave McKean did
You
the
do-
artwork? Wow. He did the artwork for our first record.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Dave McKean. Wow.
Look at this, bro.
It's big world, small circles, man.
Yeah,
It's
hell yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Emotionally confusing.
That is.
I think the name of this episode should be called "Emotionally Confusing."
Sometimes when I get out of my own way, things just happen
Yeah, sure.
for the better. The more I've been getting out of my own way, it's just things line up a lot better.
But yeah, anyway, that's what he said about straight edge is how I feel. So that's.
Have any of you ever tried that? Just stay up and try to get some kind of like.
Have you been on tour, bro?
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's like you're like just
For sure, it's not the same thing.
yeah
but
because you're trying to sleep and you're sleeping like shit.
I'll remember the first time I actually got high. I remember feeling, oh, this isn't a feeling I've never felt before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it did feel like, oh, I just got off a 12-hour plane ride that I didn't sleep on, and I'm just a little like, my head was like, whoa. That was like the first time.
Yeah.
But you have the energy.
I've never stayed up with the intention of being like, let's feel crazy. But one time, me and my friends thought it'd be funny if we could try to stay up for 48 hours and then do the milk challenge. And we made it to 40 hours.
For the people who are like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, maybe they don't know what the milk challenge is. Actually, maybe we pull it up.
So the milk challenge
Yeah, there you go, Josh.
is where you take a gallon of milk. Don't judge me because it's whole milk. And you try to chug it in 60 minutes. Sounds easy. Oh, yeah. And you without vomiting.
Yeah.
Sounds easy. Guess what? It's fucking not. Especially whenever you've stayed up for like 40 something hours. And I remember I was in my friend's backyard and I was trying to do it. And then all of a sudden, like, my chest hurt so bad that I remember being hunched over, and it was kind of like, you know, when a dog knows that it's going to die, it goes off into the woods.
Really?
I wandered off to the farthest corner of the yard to the fence, and I remember being hunched over, being like, this is it, you're going to die. Like, your heart is shutting down. And then all of a sudden, like, out of my nose, out of my mouth. But then there was so much throw up that I couldn't breathe. So I was just going. So then I was like, I'm gonna suffocate. Like, I'm having a heart attack. Now I'm gonna suffocate.
You're gonna drown on your own puke.
Dude, it was so fucked up. And then my one of my friends, he thought that he could do it as long as the milk was chocolate.
Oh, that's even worse.
It did not end well.
That's a
for
terrible
him.
Concept.
It did not end well for him at all.
Oh, but chocolate milk is incredible. Though.
But I mean, like Kobayashi.
So true.
He's he'll complete the milk challenge. There's for sure people that can do it.
That can't be good for you, man.
Yeah, I think what it is that I think the majority of people's bodies can't handle that much lactose. Because everybody, I think there's something like where everybody's like a little bit actually lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Look
But
at
like,
this fucking guy.
that's disgusting. what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, that is.
Jacked. Too.
Anyway, so I brought a gallon of milk.
Oh, really? Then actually, Josh, let's get into the next challenge that you took on, our traditional challenge.
Oh, so Stick to Your Guns is on tour one year, and we're running late for a show. So what we do is decide that we'll stop at a grocery store, because that makes sense. And then we're like, well, we're already late. Let's stop at this grocery store and get some food. And I said something like, well, I'm so hungry, I eat a whole pumpkin pie. Because it was like around Thanksgiving, and I'm always talking out loud. And
He's a verbal thinker.
And Spider, our old merch guy, is like, yeah, how fast do you think you can eat a pumpkin pie? And I was like, I can eat a pumpkin pie in 2 minutes.
Oh, what an idiot.
And he goes, anybody can eat a pumpkin pie in 2 minutes. I go, well, I can eat a pumpkin pie in 1 minute. And then everyone goes, okay, well, let's find out. And then so we have, at this point, we've abandoned even like probably playing the show. We did make it. But
I love
we go into the grocery store, I get the pumpkin pie, and the first year I try to do it inside the van. And I made some headway.
You did.
Did not complete it in 60 seconds at all. Oddly enough, Chris is like, sometimes he can be like a horrible friend. And even though he watched me not finish a standard pumpkin pie, he's talking shit about the size of a pumpkin pie. He's like, that pumpkin pie's not even big. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's from a grocery store. It's not like a mini.
instigator.
It's a normal pie, right?
I feel like a pie is like a 12
Look at his hands. His hands just went like this.
It's like an LP.
Yeah.
A real pie is the size of an LP. He got
Can
a
you
10-inch
Can you
pie.
look up
Wow.
average pie crust?
Average pie
I
size.
think it's going to be 8 or 9 inches.
I think it's 12 inches, dude. Average pie size.
Average
yeah.
pie crust size.
Yeah.
9
9
to
to
10.
10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I said
Average.
8 to 9.
I said 12.
I said
We're
8
kinda in
12's
the
too
middle.
big.
China.
That's not 12. He actually said a number that it is. He said
Yes.
8 to 9. Oh, but look, pie pans typically range from 8 to 12.
Right.
Boom.
But,
Look at
but
pie
9
balance. Look at
9
pie
inches-
balance.
9 inches is the
Pie
most.
balance.
The pie balance is what it's
Hold
all
on.
about.
9 inches is the most common size for recipes and is a good all-purpose size.
Yeah.
But the pie balance.
The pie balance is important.
What does it say? Read it.
It says
Pies
pies,
baked-
yeah. Josh.
Pies baked in bands. Pies. Pies. I swear to God, I'm not high. Pies baked in pans that are 11 inches or larger can become overfilled and undercooked.
You don't want that.
So, yeah.
That's what Chris wanted me to do. He wanted me to get mighty sick, mighty sick, and put a mud pie in my pants. And so I think we posted it. It's like Instagram was like brand new,
Yeah.
and we posted it, and people are like, ha 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 ha, ha, LOL. And the next year comes around, and we are on tour, shockingly again.
Shocking.
And
Is that where we're at my house?
we're at Chris's house, and Chris goes, "Hey, we have a day off," and Chris is like, "You know, we'll have Thanksgiving dinner at my house," and he's like, "I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and I'm gonna get you pumpkin pie." And I'm like, "Yeah, great."
A regulation.
Completely forgetting that Chris is trying to kill me. And he comes back with this fucking pumpkin pie that's as thick as this candle. And it's fucking the size of a goddamn fucking Goodyear tire. And
He's not even trying to help his boy out.
yeah,
dude.
he's
It's
not trying to help me
fucked
out at all. I don't think it's still on our Instagram. But there's that picture of Jesse when he's a kid.
Is that you, Jesse? Is that really you? No. Is that no? Who is this?
It's Jesse. It's an AI version of Jesse.
Josh made it and posted it, and I straight up thought at first, my first question was like, where did he get that photo? And then I was like, I don't think that's me.
I would love if your hair did that. Anyway, Chris
This
gets,
is post. No, this is pre straight edge.
yeah, that's Jesse straight
See,
edge.
that's look how horrible I am.
Yeah, and now he's wearing that beanie. He's from Bend, Oregon. Chris brings back this pie. He
There's
tries
too
to kill
much.
me. I'm so unsuccessful that year. I get like 2 slices down.
It was just training, though.
Yeah, again, it was almost the same feeling as the milk. Like I was like, I got to get out of this house. I'm gonna die. And then,
He Miyagi'd you.
it went on for a few more years. Had a couple real close calls, and then
Close calls.
it was the
Jeez.
Thanksgiving.
Pandemic? First pandemic Thanksgiving?
No,
Was it in Berlin?
it was no.
No.
It was 2019.
I don't think he
This is
made it.
the-
He didn't
this
get
the-
it in Berlin, did he?
You did the pool jump.
No, there was one year we were on tour. It was 2017 on the True View record release tour
Yeah.
in Europe, and we couldn't find a pumpkin pie. So I asked my wife to go to Ralph's in Los Angeles, get a pumpkin pie, and then go to LAX and fly to Berlin and bring me the pie. And she's so fucking sick. She did it, and she was so worried the pie was gonna get messed up that she sat it on her lap for the whole
my.
10-hour flight. And I was like, "You're such a G." I was like, I love you
Fernanda's
so
a real
much.
one for sure.
And but then there
Wow.
was a year where I think it was 2019, and I successfully ate the pumpkin pie in 60 seconds.
And then you jumped in a pool.
I was so pumped I jumped in a pool fully clothed. It was great.
Did you even like eat it? You just. Well, how do you do that?
Suck it down.
I had a feeling the word sucking was going to come up. I was just sucking off some pumpkin pie real
Yeah,
quick.
it's emotionally confusing.
Okay, see, this is my problem with straight edge bands. It's like you find other weird shit to do. Hey, you haven't tried that milk challenge?
Sure. But now it's like, that is a better story than be like, and then I drank 7 beers and got drunk on my couch.
Yeah, sure. No, fair. Touche, man. Of course. We all have our own.
Because I bet you
stupid-ass
have some
stories.
great stories from before you were 21.
Of course, yeah.
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 That
He
were.
for sure has great stories once he's
Oh,
hammered.
he's got great stories hammered.
Yeah.
He's not normal guy hammered. He's not just letting some steam off after work.
No. Well, if I don't switch up, we're just going to go on a tangent. But so the band has been around for a while. We're going 22 years. Citrus Gun started in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I still say
So long.
20 years, but now
No.
it's even more now.
No.
The fuck, dude.
03. We're 2000. Just turned 2025. We are in a new year.
Yep.
It's crazy. That's
Holy shit.
22 years, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
First EP 2003.
And then we're about to release our 8th LP.
Yeah, 8 records out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah,
Few
nuts, huh?
EPs
It's
in there.
weird. It's just weird when this is just like when you see like the whole like body of work. You
No,
know?
for sure.
It's like, wow, 8 records still doing this shit.
I know, straight up. Straight the fuck up.
Picking a set list is now becoming. It's always like, do we have to play a song off this record? Like we're trying to just figure out what to play.
Let's put in bangers. That's
I mean, that's the goal all the time.
like bangers and like a couple or like a
God,
few
don't
like
play that.
like deep.
Oh, can you look at track 8, please?
No, please don't do it.
Justin's a doofus. But also it's apostrophe S. Like he owns the a doofus.
I really should have looked at the track listing. Wow, who's Justin?
He was our old guitar player, and this was him. He was like doing backup vocals.
Yeah.
And my brother recorded this in his apartment. And this is him like listening to his voice on reverb. Like he had just never. He was just so mind blown about listening to his voice into headphones through a microphone for the first time.
Huh.
So this is like him just listening to his voice, and my brother's just recording him, just letting him go.
And then you guys were all like, track 8.
Yeah, exactly. We're just.
I know the best way to close out this EP.
But
Well,
yeah, anyway.
close it with a banger, dude.
When's the first time we've played together?
I was just I was taking a trip down memory lane. I think it's when we both were doing that Buried Dead tour. That's
2006.
Don't
That-
call it a comeback.
yeah,
Yep.
I was there.
2006. Yeah, I think that was the first time we had played together.
Look it up. Bring it up. Don't call it a comeback tour.
I was looking at dates. Oh, yeah, 2007.
Stick to your guns. Who was on it?
Stick to your guns. So you guys. There's one more band. There's one more. I think there was an opener, right?
Since the Flood.
That's it.
There you go.
You got it.
What year?
2007.
With Bury Your Dead.
Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah, we did these pre-shows.
Way more dates than that.
Oh, we did.
That's not the Barrier Dead.
No, that
That's
was
just before.
Oh, that was just
leading
us
into
two
it,
going
yeah.
out to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
just our bands. Yeah.
There it
Since the
is.
Flood. Good memory. Wow,
Holy shit.
man.
2006 or 2007. So
Oh yeah, it started in New York. I remember that.
Damn, that's 18 years ago.
That's
Damn, that's
18
crazy.
years ago, and we're idiots still doing this.
dude, crazy.
How long was
It's
that?
so
weird.
crazy.
It's weird.
What was our first tour together? It was like us. It was Walls of Jericho, you guys, and A Life Once Lost.
I think it was the same year.
Sick ass tour.
I think it was the same year. I was like,
that was a long ass time ago.
it was November.
dude.
It's crazy to
We're
see.
old as shit.
It's also crazy to see like these venues.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we were to book a tour right now, it would be these venues.
Honestly, sick.
Zero growth.
This is sick. This is sick. I remember, I remember first meeting you, Chris. You were really big on the
The whiskey. Holy shit.
Decimator.
Oh yeah.
You were really big on, hey, dude, check out the rig, dude. and then you got me into that Decimator pedal. I got one.
Yeah, it was like the tightest gate, and probably shortly after that, I was like, yeah, I'm going back. I
Dude, it was like
was like, you know what? I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna get all these guys hooked on decimators, and then I'm gonna
Abandoned.
And then I'm gonna be like, oh,
laugh at 'em.
nerd, to use a decimator.
I for
No,
sure.
that pedal is great though. You can murder someone with that thing too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah, it's brutal.
Jesus.
I literally thought he was going to say, yeah, when I first met you, you were really big into conspiracy theories. Because when I first met Chris, he'd be like, hey,
Yep.
what do you know about the Federal Reserve? He's like, you ever heard about chemtrails?
Oh no. Yeah, it was hype for like a good year. I think Chris was the first one that
146.
Damn, dude.
I think Chris was the first guitar player I saw that actually had it. I was like, okay, it sounds good. Let me go get one. And then, you just go back to the boss.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I use the Boss in front of the Quad Cortex now too, because
Oh, wow.
because I don't like the gate on the Quad Cortex.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
it's
Andrew
like,
says there's a new one.
Yeah, the new one sounds
I haven't
great.
tried out.
You should
Tried
try
it
it.
out yet.
Yeah.
that's sick. And you use a quad for your bass, huh?
Yep. It rocks.
we gotta get a quad for Dan Kenny. So and you run it through the Gordure preset. That's what I don't.
Yeah. Well, I run
understand.
like just like a clean bass channel,
Okay.
and then I mix it with like a distorted channel, and that's the Gojira,
Oh, okay.
just like the whatever Mesa amp that they use for the plugin.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh. So besides Jesse, you were the next person to join, right?
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys meet?
Literally on tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had 3 drummers, right?
Probably more, but
Yeah.
I mean, fill-in wise for sure, but yeah, three official. I think, or no, four,
you have
because Elliot was official.
Oh,
in the
Joffer
band.
Cowboy Elliott. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember him,
Oh, of
but yeah,
course.
he drummed for us for a minute.
One tour or something.
But we met for the first time at.
We had
John
met a couple
Wayne
times
Air-
around, but yeah.
Yeah.
I knew the other drummer, Casey, and Reed was playing guitar. I guess I also knew him from Irvine, where I was from. And then I showed up. I met Jesse, and then the drummer was kicked out of the band maybe 5 shows later
Was Casey was the one that asked you to,
to join. Yeah.
and Jesse was just like, whoever comes on the tour, that's playing this. Like you're like, I don't care who's.
Yeah, honestly, that we rolled so crazy back then.
We showed up to John Wayne with a drum set. Yeah, a full drum set.
Are you with- you
I
took a
had
drum
like
set
a
there?
Ampeg SVT 4 Pro like with me, and then I mean no, they didn't let us.
Yeah.
They didn't let us take the drum set on the plane.
Wow, I never heard that in my life. Someone actually took a drum set to the
Yeah,
airport.
we had to buy one in Boston.
Bro, when you don't know,
I know
you,
you don't know.
you find out.
You find
know
out.
what I
Actually,
mean?
here's the thing with that too is like, so they wouldn't let the drum set come on, so we flew to Boston. Then we had to buy a drum set, but then because we got stuck in Boston buying a drum set at Guitar Center when they opened, we missed the first show in Quebec City because we didn't have time to make it. So
It's called rock and roll, brother.
Yeah, that's,
and then yeah.
Wait, but then you didn't have a bass head either, right?
No, I didn't have a bass head. I had to borrow one.
But weren't you plugging in direct?
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. I was.
This sucks.
We tried to like borrow amps from like the bands we're on tour with, and they were just obviously like, well, we don't know who this band is. Like, sorry. So I was just using like local.
It was Every Time I Die in the Bronx, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever. But yeah,
Whatever.
I don't want to.
They were like, look at these children. Don't let them touch
I don't
our
blame
stuff.
them,
Yeah.
I guess. But so if there were local bands, I would ask to use their amp. But there were some shows like in the middle of that tour where there were no local bands. So then I just had like whatever pedal. It wasn't even like a Sans amp. It was like an MXR, something. And I just went direct. And that was, like no one was using a direct thing back then, whenever this
Yeah.
was. So it was just like
2008.
guitar cabs on stage, rocking, and then I'm just like in my pedal.
Also, yeah, this
Sounded like shit.
16 years ago.
that must have been the tour right after the Bury Your Dead one. Oh no,
Warped Tour
That
was
was
right
after
before
Warped
this.
Tour. Yeah, you and I met for the first time on this.
Yeah.
On 2008
on
Warped Tour.
really?
Yeah, but man,
Yeah, so we missed that Quebec City show, and then we showed up to Montreal.
and Andrew's like,
Wow.
And then,
And
okay,
then-
okay. So on November 1st, the tour starts. November 8th,
Yep.
the only guy that Andrew knows in the band gets kicked out.
Yeah.
Well, no. After Warped Tour, didn't you come to Europe with Walls of Jericho?
Yeah, that was probably in
Yeah.
between. Yeah.
Because
Oh, this
no,
is
I think it's
November.
I think Warped Tour was 2007.
Yeah, this is November, so this is the end of the year.
But I remember Dog, our manager, was playing guitar in the band, and he didn't care about, he was busy building Merch Connection in his bunk. Did not care about his gear, anything. I would help him set up his amp, and I would touch his guitar, and it felt like the strings were furry. And he was like, I haven't changed these strings since Warped Tour.
That was like,
It was
Furry strings,
disgusting. Dude, it was disgusting.
I remember on the first show in Berlin that we played with Dog, I turned around and he didn't even have a shirt on or a guitar, and he's just marching around the stage.
No, he had the fuzzy Russian hat on, and he was flexing at SO36 and then spitting water like a water fountain on the crowd, just going.
Which is also crazy because we played SO36 in Berlin. Like a few months later, it was my first time in Berlin, and Jesse just didn't show up to the set. So think if you saw Stick to Your Guns
And he
both
was straight
times, you
edge.
just
All
can't
right, listen
even
to this.
imagine.
Here's what happened. I fell asleep on the bus, right? You fly in, you're exhausted, and the time changes. So I'm like, I'm going to go take a nap on the bus. Surely if they're looking for me, they'll check my bunk.
Yeah.
Our guitar player, Reed, at the time, you remember, the double-decker buses?
Yeah.
He just goes to the top of the stairs and goes, Jesse. Doesn't hear anything and goes, not here.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm blaming it on him. But then I was in my bunk, and the tour manager of the tour woke me up by taking me by my hoodie and bringing me to the floor of in between the buses. And he's
Shout
like-
out Errol.
Yeah, Errol, yeah. And he's like, you're 15 minutes into your set. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then we got on stage and we played like 2 songs.
Yeah, it was great too. Crushed it.
The show was awesome, yeah.
Oh wow, man, it sounds so much better without vocals. Holy crap. Holy
So there's a lot of people who feel that way.
man. So you didn't have like an alarm or something? You're just,
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just blaming it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, we played San Diego House of Blues. Was it San Diego House of Blues?
Yes.
San Diego House of Blues.
Was that with Suicide Silence?
Oh,
No,
shit. Wait,
it was
what-
Winds of Plague.
Was it?
I don't think Suicide Silence was on that.
It wasn't the.
Yeah, I thought it was.
What was the?
Atticus. Was that like Suicide Silence on Earth?
Yeah, what was that?
Was that
tour?
that was a tour that we did, right?
I don't think they
No,
were on
no,
Atticus. Thrash and Burn, I think, would have been.
That's the one. Right? Is there San Diego?
But
on
anyway,
there?
no, I don't think
no,
it was
it's
on
not
that tour.
this.
I
It's
think it
not
was
this.
with Suicide Silence.
Yeah, it
Any-
was with Suicide Silence.
San Diego, really?
It's just like 2013.
House of Blues.
Yeah, Jesse is so
Wow.
late. We're on stage with guitars ready to go. The stage manager is just like,
Put in Stick to Your Guns, Suicide Silence.
stage manager is just like, you got to go, you got to go. Jesse's not even in the building. He rolls up out front and, no, it is Winds of Play, because don't you throw your keys to Nick P?
Yeah. I was like, bro, I'm so late. I am so sorry. Can you please park my car? I couldn't find parking anywhere.
Oh yeah, look.
Oh,
All
Winds of
Stars.
Plague
It was
is
All
on.
Stars.
Yeah, scroll down. Let's see the date.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the.
Yeah. No, okay, so they
Second-
weren't on the show.
No, Suicide Silence. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
was
that's
this-
what. That's the
missed out.
confusion. Yeah.
The second show of the tour.
But
we
anyway,
miss like half the set, maybe more, and then you
Wow.
could see like a rumble through the crowd, kind of, and it's Jesse like coming to the stage, and just he runs up on stage last minute. I don't
What
know
are you
how many
doing,
songs
man?
we actually played.
Toss the keys
Whatever
in the
I
middle of the
want,
street.
bro.
Yeah, he's just
No, I just didn't. I'm I'm living in Orange County, being like, oh, I can be in San Diego in an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's at 4 p.m. Leaving at 4 p.m.
So,
No problem.
So
Also,
you were
can we just
driving.
look at that lineup real quick?
So
That it was
you were driving, huh?
It was
Yeah, oh, yeah.
acceptable
Oh, wow.
to have this many bands on one tour.
that was the thing to do. I hated
And
it.
like, look at those bands. Like, look at the mix.
I remember watching you guys play on some nights and thinking, this has got to be the worst thing in the world to have to play
That
after
sucked.
15
was
bands,
terrible.
one stage. You know,
it
like,
still is that bad. Yeah, it's after like, it's like 7 bands or 6 bands, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Exactly.
It's just like it just kind of sucks the energy out of you.
yeah, and also on
And
top
then,
of that,
but,
like,
then, but then you got to bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
fucking bring it, dude. Thank to tequila and Coors Light and all that. You know, secret weapon there. You know.
But yeah, sorry. The 5 of us get together and we go on tangents, bro. I'm so sorry.
No, it's awesome. It's great.
You know, we're gonna do the show now.
It's
You're
your show.
our guest now.
I would really appreciate that. Actually, that would make my job a lot easier. I just sit back and it's like a fucking idiot, dude. Just fucking chill, man. Oh, you know what? I wanted to bring this tour up because this was 2012, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so this was Mitch's last tour, and you guys were on it.
Yeah.
And you guys so you guys had a charity event you did for like 3 years, correct?
yeah, it's called Keeping Warm in a Cold World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys did the show, and you donated your proceeds to Mitch's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember when we came back, it was like a year and a half had passed, and we saw you guys in Europe. You know, but I was still in my haze, and I never thanked you guys. You know, for doing that.
Of course, bro.
And that money went to his tombstone. I'm sure you guys are aware of that.
Oh no,
You know, so his tombstone is that's where the charity money went.
dude, awesome,
Tombstone, so,
awesome. Yeah, that was tough, man. You know what I mean? It's like I grew up even going to Showcase and seeing Mitch had a band before Suicide Silence. What was it?
Dying Dreams.
Yep. And seeing Dying Dreams play, and like this is even before Stick to Your Guns was really a thing. I think when was that? What, like 2001, maybe 2002,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's like around
But anyway, and so it's like Mitch was part of our scene growing up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we've done so many tours together and shit like that. So that was a bummer, man. But
Yeah, so I remember I saw you guys. I'm like, and then years passed, and I'll look back at the moment I saw you guys in Europe. Man, I didn't even thank them. And I felt like a coward for like actually many years. So this is actually my I don't know, kind of selfish moment where I didn't thank those guys. You know, so I never thanked you guys. in
well, we
person,
appreciate you, but man, yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine going through something like that for real. You know what I mean? Like, It's like you're the band. The band becomes your family. You know what I'm
it's a
saying?
family.
So it's like
it's a family. They're best friends. They're brothers.
yeah, for sure.
And then you're just connected to music.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
It's like fuck, dude.
Absolutely, man. I was trying to find a photo. There's a photo of me and Mitch outside of some tiny little club. I kept on trying to find it. It was probably on like an old fucking MySpace or something that I don't even have access to. But I did a deep dive. I couldn't find it. It's one of those things I wish I had now. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course, yeah.
But yeah.
Remember, you guys? Once you guys dropped that record, Diamond, a lot of being like an outsider. That was when people started talking about your band the most.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. What was was there a change in? I know that was the first record with you, right, Chris?
No, that was
Second.
second one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
First one with Josh.
Yeah, I joined the band.
Okay, yeah.
In the studio.
I think there was
what?
definitely like the record before, A Hope Division, that was like Chris's first record with the band, and that was Chris's like first major contribution. He basically wrote the music to the entire record. You know what I mean? And so I think there was a little bit of like definitely a sonic change in the band from the record before to this that I think maybe took a little bit of like PR to like let people know like this is the new Stick to Your Guns. So I think by the time Diamond hit is like when people kind of understood what we were trying to do and go for or whatever. So yeah, and then so I think by the time Diamond came out, it kind of like people were kind of like, oh, this is cool, because you know, as you know, it's not just like straightforward hardcore per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we
But it
like
is
to do our
funny
thing.
because I remember the day that Diamond came out, and we went to the day that it came out, or the day after, and we went to an FYE or something, and we're like, let's buy the copies. Because like that's when like SoundScan.
that, yeah.
That's
It's
a big moment.
Yeah,
It is
it's
cool
moment,
seeing
man.
your
you
album.
know,
in the store,
and so
too.
like we bought the copies, and I remember maybe it was like Alternative Press or something. There was some magazine, and we like read a review, and it was like, it doesn't touch the Hope Division. And then you guys were talking about like, this is bullshit. When the Hope Division came out, everybody's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And now everybody's just being like, Diamond's okay, but the Hope Division's
Wow.
awesome. And then there's, you know, that was always constantly, I feel like, a thing with us where like a record would come out and maybe it wouldn't get the reaction that maybe we thought that it deserved or that we were hoping for, but then it referenced the record before.
Right.
And we're like everybody's like just a few years
Sure.
behind
Sure.
us. It's interesting.
I think a lot of people, especially then, didn't know how to handle just like we had such like, you know, those big melodic singy choruses, and I think people were kind of like trying to figure out what the hell we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I think in a weird way we were trying to like almost like combine two worlds. Not that there aren't
Yeah.
hardcore bands that sing, of course there are. But yeah, I think that maybe it did require a little bit of like letting people
It was too
understand what we were
too
trying
metal,
to do. I
too
guess.
metalcore for hardcore, too hardcore for metalcore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like caught in this between. Yeah, for sure.
Well, but I mean, your band always dealt with that.
For sure.
It took. I think it took like the singer Scott, the singer Terror, was constantly just talking about your band.
Oh,
Yeah.
him. I say that it's like one of the biggest contributors to our band because like his cosign.
Have you guys ever talked to him why he did that?
I think when we just did that, we did a tour with them. It was us, them. It was 2007. It was right before that, the one we did with you in 2008, and it was like our first major U.S. tour, like full U.S. tour with like real bands. I think it was like War of Ages, or yeah, exactly. That's it. All Shall Perish, War of Ages,
that's
The Warriors, Terror, Stick to Your Guns, and so we're opening this tour, and I think at that point, Terror's doing really well, and so of course their agent's like, yo, you can't just bring your friends' bands, you got to bring, you remember this, because when you go on tour, all you want to do is bring your friends' bands. You don't give a fuck about how anyone draws or whatever. You just want to go on tour with your friends. But at this point, they're getting on magazines and like they're crushing, so their agent's like, hey, you need to bring these young hypey bands, and that's basically how we ended up on there. Like Terror did not request Stick to Your Guns, but through the tour we created this amazing relationship, and then they brought us on tour in Europe, and they brought us to Australia, and they brought us to Japan, and they brought us all over the world. And Scott just basically was like, yeah, this is a band that does things different, but like that's what makes all this shit sick, and these are good people, and they're about it, and blah 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 blah. So I mean, we've toured with them probably more than any other band. So it's like they're those are our fucking people, like forever. You know what I mean? Like straight up.
Yeah, well, dude, we all need the cosign.
Exactly.
When someone gives you like a nod, you're like, oh, thanks, man.
Well, when you support each other, it's just like, because especially music fans. I mean, I was the same way, especially when I was young. It's like you can be fickle. If it's not cool to like a certain band, you won't. You know what I mean? Even if you actually like it.
And you guys were like that at middle ground. It's like, so that you can't really.
It was
play
never
hardcore.
cool. It was never cool on any
Tough.
side. So basically, the only people left that like our band are the people who are not afraid to be cringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
so
true.
it's like,
Yeah, shout out Boundaries.
Yeah, straight up.
love boundaries. Those are our people
Every
too.
time we've dropped a single for this new record for Keep Planting Flowers, there's at some point somebody hits the group chat with a screenshot of one of the guys from Boundaries Stories being like, check out this new Stick to Your Guns single. And we're like, fuck yeah, shout out Boundaries.
Yeah, they're putting us
Boundaries
on.
is
That's
fucking
cool.
sick.
They're putting us on. We
And that's
love
cool
them.
because I feel like there are, like Jesse said, there's like a lot of, there's a lack of that now. You know, I think there used to be such a support for your scene and for your friends. And now it kind of tends to just be like, this is my business and this is my brand, and you don't see Nike promoting Reebok.
Right, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
calm down.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, here's the thing. I've gotten caught up in that too. It's like you get so close to your own band because of all the different moving pieces that to also go and then like try to be like, oh, and also listen to this album by my friends seems like in your head you're like, oh, that's too much right now. You know what I mean, or whatever. But there's definitely times when I should have been putting my friends' bands on more than I have, but.
Guilty of that as well.
You know what I mean? And but it's just like
happens.
it's kind of the nature of the industry when you have your label and your manager and your agent, everyone just kind of like, you know what I mean? It becomes this kind of like pressure cooker, especially when you're about to release
the
an
algorithm.
album. Yeah, it's like what I love about Stick to Your Guns now. It's just like we've all personally, I'm a white knuckler, and I think that's what they were talking about. It's like I can get too close to something and I grab onto it, and no one can talk me down to like loosening up. And my biggest thing is just like kind of letting it go and letting it play out as it plays.
Sometimes you gotta do that.
And it's made everything easier because it's relieved the pressure from the pressure cooker, and now we're kind of just doing what we can when we can. And we said this yesterday. Our mentality now is just like we're just happy to be here. Like look at all those tours that we've done since 2006, and you know we're heading into 2026 next year, and it's like we're still doing it. So I'm happy.
Haven't killed each other yet. It's
Yeah, almost.
It's great. Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let things play out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you can't control it all. You know what I mean? Especially now. There's all these new bands, and these new bands fucking rock, and you know what I mean? Like that's what you're competing with. So
yeah, you gotta just let it. Or sometimes I'll let something just play out, so the whole band sees how it played out.
Sure.
And then it'll actually bring you closer.
Sure.
And then the music will get better. So it's this weird thing. Even if something is wrong, you kind of know it's wrong. But if it plays out, they'll all feel more. You all feel more as like a family.
Sure.
And then the next decision is made better,
Yeah, of course.
as opposed to white knuckling it and then.
Because we all want to end up at the same place, but we
Same-
just have different ways of getting there. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's also like hard depending on like where you are at the timeline of your band.
Oh, that too.
You know,
Yeah.
like
And
for
the
us,
age too.
being a band that's 22 years old and putting out a new record, it's like, well, I know the record's good. And I know that if you're a fan of the band, you're probably really going to like this record. But it's like, why should someone listen to it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's so many new things. And I think like maybe like for Suicide Silence, like in the metal world, I think it's like easier to like age. You know, like
Interesting.
you could go
Yeah.
watch, I don't know, Exodus or something.
Sure.
And be like, yeah, this is awesome. But like with metalcore and hardcore, it's like such a young man's game.
Yeah.
It almost feels like people go, they're old, and they just and
never thought about
write it
that.
off. You know.
I mean, Gojira played the Olympics, so technically for metal, the Olympics is the ceiling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Next to the moon.
yeah, exactly. So it's
And new. I feel like in like punk and hardcore, metalcore, newer bands are able to like take an old style and make it fresh again. Whereas
Yeah.
like the pioneers of a certain style could put out a record that's equally as phenomenal, and then not get the same respect as like somebody jocking them.
Well, yeah, it's
I don't know which
strange.
is, but it's cool though. I mean, I enjoy that it's like young kids taking their take on
well,
shit that came before them. You know?
I think people too, kids or music listeners, we keep calling them kids because we know that it's like Josh said, it's a young man's game. They want to see themselves on stage.
Totally.
Oh, sure.
So I feel like
Sure.
that was a huge thing for Knocked Loose. You know what I mean? Not only were they a fucking good band, but they looked like the people who were going to their. You know what I mean? Like people look at Knocked Loose and they look cool. They have cool style. Like they look at Knocked Loose and they see themselves, or they see someone maybe they want to be or whatever. You know what I mean? And that
It seems attainable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little harder for older dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes
Someone's like, "Whose dad are you?"
yeah, like, oh, this guy looks like my shitty uncle.
You know what I'm saying?
wonder.
So I understand the mentality for sure. And I think the reason maybe metal ages well is because metal fans stay metal fans well into their older.
Yeah.
Yep.
You never take off that jean jacket with all the patches. Like you get it when you're 18 and you're put in the casket. With
Right. Right. Exactly.
88 years old and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think hardcore and metalcore, it people do tend to age. I feel like it has a higher aging out rate than like straightforward metal does.
What about bands like Terror or Agnostic Front? Like those kind of bands where I feel
I would call those the exception to the rule.
really.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think also Terror has the ability to do so much crossover
Yeah.
that if for some reason, if they were maybe taking a dip in popularity in hardcore, they're able to go out on tour with bands like Dying Fetus and all these other bands and Cannibal Corpse. And those fans go, whoa, this is super aggressive.
They hear
I
metal
like
in that.
this.
Yeah.
They hear the
Exactly.
metal riffs in
Yeah.
terror.
They hear the metal
Terror.
riffs.
And so it's like, I mean, Jesus Christ, this is literally the fucking best band in the world. Like the shows, anytime I see Terror, it's just like, dude, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So that to me is like, that's an exception to the rule because that's
Oh, yeah,
just
that's some
like,
Detroit shit.
dude. Oh, is that the last
Tied Down.
Tied Down Fest? God, they're just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable band.
So they're I think there's always a exception.
Sure, yeah.
Anywhere. Dude, I hate crust, but I love dystopia.
I love tragedy.
That's with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's with that band. Dude, I've sat and it's like try to find other crust bands. Just trying. I'm like, nothing.
Not for me.
Nothing.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What would you, and use as much metal nerdiness as you want, what genre is Behemoth?
People will call me a poser for calling them black metal. I
Sure.
think.
Okay, so when I was like trying to,
I'm a poser. Fuck it.
when- I've heard black metal, I've heard black into death metal, I've heard all these different things, and same thing. Like to me, Behemoth, I saw him at a festival, and after we saw him at a festival, they had just put out that record, "Oh Satan, Oh Son,"
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just am a Behemoth fan now, and I don't listen to any other music because it was just the most incredible thing I'd ever seen and heard. And then I go try to listen to the bands who I guess would like influence this.
Pop up on the Spotify.
Yeah, and I'm just same thing. I'm like, this is unlistenable to me. You know what I mean? Like I can't listen to any of this. You know, and I'm sure there's the Satanist. That's it.
Satanist.
That record is fucked. It is so good.
Okay, a band. You're talking about aging. What record number is that? It might be in the double digits.
And yeah, and that's 2014 when that came out.
It's like some bands just come out of nowhere and then put out like their 10th record, and that's the one that.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Pops off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
their 10th record. Wow. In 2014. That's 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a guess. 10th
You know what
record.
I mean? To me, that's what I respect. Is like these bands who have, like, I don't even care about growth. Like they've been able to maintain their band for that long. You know, growth is weird. You can't have year after year after year after year growth. That's just not sustainable. But like just keeping your band maintaining and going, like that takes so much hard work. So I have respect for
There's for
for
sure
bands
so
that
many
do
like
that.
ups and downs
Exactly.
in that, and be able to ride out the down to like
There
get
was-
to the 10th
yeah.
album that pops.
There was for
It's
sure
like-
moments in Behemoth's career where they're like, yeah, let's wrap this
Yeah.
shit up. You know, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think maintaining is actually harder than growth.
Oh, 100%.
Because then once
Yeah.
you get to a
Yeah.
spot, staying there is.
Because growth can
Tough.
happen out of nowhere for reasons that you don't even understand, especially nowadays.
Yeah,
you could
true.
just be a band and then all of a sudden you have a viral song on TikTok and now you have 1,000 people at your show every day. Like it can come out of nowhere, but then it can also leave
Yeah.
out of nowhere. You know what I
True,
mean?
very
So,
true.
you know, it's maintaining through that and pushing through those moments of like, okay, there's 80 people here. fuck it, let's go rock the shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's just gonna happen sometimes. At least to the average band. Maybe not every band, but the average band.
Yeah, it's super tough, man.
It is.
But it's guess for me it's a nice light and then tunnels. And man, I don't think we have put out our best record yet.
Yeah, fuck
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like it's
Yeah.
kind of
That's how you know you're gonna keep going though. Because
Sure.
there are bands that we know that just phone that shit in. They just phoning it in. They've been doing it for however long, and they're just like, fuck it, let's
Yeah.
just do a record and just put it out and whatever. They don't even care about it.
I feel like
No.
even like I got into the habit of every time we did a new record, I'm just like, yeah, this is the best one because it's just something new.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know. And then I think whenever we put out Spectre, we sat on the record for 2 years because of the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
By the time the record came out, I feel like I could listen to it and go, I don't think this is the best one.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really interesting moment. And then not to try to be that guy, but now like with Keep Planting Flowers, the record was so like the record Keep Planting Flowers was so unintentional. Like we weren't even having a conversation about writing a record. We wrote a couple of songs and we went, wow, that went really easy. Let's write a few more. And then all of a sudden it's like, let's just do a record. And I think that now when I listen to Keep Planting Flowers, I'm like, maybe this is the best one. You know, like I feel like it's gonna stand the test of time for Stick to Your Guns fans.
That's great. And was this your first record with Adam?
Yep.
Rockin'? Nice. Dude, I was going to ask you, man. I came across a random video of you playing drums. I think you were in the studio for that record. I was like, what is that fucking snare? It's like that deep.
Oh, the big silver chrome one, or
I saw a chrome one and I saw a brass one. It's a brass? Or
yeah,
gold?
it's a Gretsch bell brass.
It's a bell brass.
Yeah, that one was from Beau Burchell's.
Yeah,
That's from his library.
That's from his library.
it's that metal one, huh?
Yeah.
It's a bell brass, really?
Yeah, that's what we tracked the full length with.
How heavy is that sucker?
It's probably at least 20 to 25 pounds. It fucking sucks carrying it around.
But how did you get it to sound like it sounds like a piccolo. It sounds like a...
I straight up, I am the worst person to ask because like any video I post, someone's
Yeah,
like,
Jay,
how do you get your...
go to his Instagram.
Someone will be like, how do you get your snare tone? And I feel like such an asshole. I literally just crank the lugs until they stop moving. It's like the worst way to do it, but it like...
That's why we got
It
him.
works.
Tell them your Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Fuck, I should have picked a better
Do you even know your own...
Yeah, there you go right there.
What's your Instagram?
The Instagram is at Cathedral of Despair.
Nice. Okay, Jay, go
Should
down.
have picked a better.
Down.
I for sure should.
Down.
What is it?
All it is like
Up more?
I've been
Actually,
asked
I
a
think-
few times, and it's a dumb reference to a joke from the movie What We Do in the Shadows. Not even the show. It's from the movie. That one I was borrowing Hawthorne Heights' snare.
Why?
Because I played Ohio's for Lovers with Hawthorne Heights.
Keep going down, Jay. I'm destined to find this. Okay, I found it. I was like, what is that?
It's like a studio one.
Yeah.
Yes,
right
okay.
down there.
Bottom right.
Bottom right.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
Crank it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, there's Jay. There's two things playing, man. I was like, man, I'm like, damn, this beat
crazy.
sucks.
Like, check out Adam right now, bro.
There we go.
That's a bell brass?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could have done it better, but it's good.
And yeah, no idea. It's just
Dude, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. For the record, Beau and I worked on tuning it to like a real note as opposed to how I normally tune it. Because the way I tune it, I literally just do it for live. Like, the snare is going to cut through fucking everything when I play it. And that doesn't really necessarily translate well recorded.
yeah.
Because it sounds fucking really obnoxious when it's actually under a microphone.
Really?
So in the studio, we're just like, let's dial it back, make sure it's like on the higher spectrum, but nowhere near what I do live. Because live, that thing is just, there's almost no body in it. Like with how much I crank it, it's just just literally just all attack, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fucking sick. I guess it'll always be it's another mystery.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man.
I'm really anal about snare tones. It's just so hard to get like the perfect one. Like once you get it, you're like, wow, and you can't get it back.
Do you have a go-to one, or is
Sean.
it within the context of the record?
I have a go-to, but we've been trying to recreate it, and it just can't.
Sure.
Our first record, that high-pitched snare.
Yeah.
It's a bell brass. We've been trying it. Just doesn't. We tune it higher and higher. It just doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
it's over. It's gone. It was a moment in time.
Yeah, the snare on the cleansing is one of the reasons why I started cranking the fuck out of my snare. It was very funny.
Wow.
You're partly to blame for.
It's
my
your
snare
fault,
drum.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. So a lot of things are my fault, like stress and fuck, that's so fucking stupid. You guys, who mentioned in your band that in hindsight, Disobedient, your record wasn't the direction that you would have went?
Yeah,
Why?
I think what I said was, I don't know if I said that. I think what I said was, I think that Keep Planting Flowers is the record that should have come out after Diamond.
Oh, okay.
So I think that if you were to listen to Diamond and then listen to Keep Planting Flowers and then listen to Disobedient, that would feel like a very natural progression. Mm-hmm. Because to me, at least, Keep Planting Flowers sounds like a blend between
Go to the track listen, Jay.
Diamond and Disobedient. And there's actually a song on Keep Planting Flowers called Eats Me Up that was part of the Disobedient writing sessions. So we've been sitting on that song since 2014.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of those things where like we love the chorus and we love the beginning and the chorus, but then we just hated the rest of the song. And then when we were in the studio with Beau, we decided to like kind of revisit it to see if we could kind of, bring it back some life. And then Jesse's like, yeah, this thing's just been sitting in the garden. It's just been growing and now we figured it out. So, but yeah, I think that the new record feels like it actually belongs after Diamond and before Disobedient.
Wow.
Disobedient was good for us. I mean, that was our first time with John Feldmann, which was like
Yeah,
an
yeah, I was just
actual
gonna
like
bring it up, like a
name
real-
or whatever. And after the first day with him, we were like, "Fuck this!" Like we,
Are you serious?
yeah, we were like, "We hate this."
Dude, Jesse,
Are you serious?
So
wow,
we
that
rolled in.
sucks, dude.
We rolled in. Chris and I remember me, Chris, Andrew.
My boy right there, dude. Here's the thing: it turns around. It turns around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full-
So me and Chris and Jesse had written 19 songs, I believe. And then me, Chris, Andrew, and George, our own drummer, we learn them all. We go to Andrew's parents' house, and we're in the garage like we're 12.
Yeah, wanting to be prepared because we're going
like,
to work with John
We're
Feldman.
going to work with John Feldman. We got to know exactly how to play these songs. Of
course.
So we dialed them all in, right?
Yeah.
Never, in my experience of the band, has Jesse always prepares vocals when he's ready to track. So we don't ever even
Except for Diamond.
we don't ever expect there to be, but we knew going into Disobedient, we knew that Jesse would have like, here's all my melodies. So he's like, I got some ideas. You'll see me in the studio. We're like, cool, great.
Dang.
Trust you. So we go the first day to John Feldman and he goes, all right, show me what you guys got. And Chris and I are like, yeah, check this out. We got 19 songs, brother. And so we put him on and he goes, does this have vocals on it? And we're like, no, it's all demos. And he's like, all right, next. Does this have vocals on it? No. It's like, next. Does this have vocals on it? We're like, none of them have vocals on it. He's like, oh, then I don't care about them. And then we're like, what? And he goes, yeah, all I care about are the vocals and the drum beat. And then we're like, okay. And then he goes, all right,
well, I guess we'll leave.
here's what we're going to do. And he goes, you guys grab some acoustics. There's 2 acoustic guitars in there. You and Chris grab them. Jesse, here's the keys to my car. Here's a notebook and here's a pen. Here's some directions to the top of a mountain. I want you to go to the top of a mountain and just write a song. Write anything in your head. It can be about anything, to any tempo, to any melody, but just write it. Write down the words. Write down the melody. Everything. I'm gonna go inside the house, take a shot of espresso, sit down at the piano for a minute, and then me, Josh, and Chris will reconvene in like 15 minutes. And then he leaves. And then Chris and I are like, what? And Jesse's like, okay. And I remember everyone's so confused. Jesse drives off. We're like, we're probably never going to see him again. Chris and I get the guitars and we're literally just like going like, bow.
Like, what are we supposed to be doing? We don't know what we're doing.
Have no clue what's coming, what's we're supposed to do. Feldman comes back in the studio. He's like highly caffeinated, and he's like, he's like, all right, I got an idea, and we're like, okay. And in our brain, we were never thinking we're gonna write a song in the studio, because we never do that. We always write the songs beforehand. And so he sits down and he starts doing this thing.
Like a progression.
And he starts doing a progression on the piano. And then he was like, it's super impressive to watch him run into the vocal booth and do a vocal line and then come back out and then just keep doing that. And Chris and I are just going, what the fuck is going on? And he writes this thing that to us sounded like a car commercial. And then we were like, yeah, this isn't like us at all. But we're just like, okay, what's happening? And then he's like, okay, no, he's asking us just to write parts to it. And we're like, I don't know what's going on. Jesse comes back on. It's been a couple hours. He comes back and he pulls me aside and he goes, Josh, I don't like this. And then I go, yeah, this is very bizarre. But you know, if let's today's day one, let's finish the day, and if we don't like it, then we'll just fire him. And he goes, we're gonna fire John Feldmann? And I was like, then we're like, we both sat there and talked about it. And we're like, well, what's the best thing for the band and the record? And sometimes just like a big name on something doesn't mean it's the right fit. And, and it's no disrespect to Feldmann, obviously. He's an extremely great, but we were just like, oh, this might be the wrong fit. And so then Jesse and I were like, well, we kind of just agreed, let's just finish out this day and see what happens, right? So Feldmann has written this riff that is not for our band at all. It is like, this does not work. And he turns around and he goes, okay, guys, write something to it.
But he muted the music and then left his vocal and then straight up, like, you'd be holding a guitar and you'll just go, all right, this can be anything. And you're listening to what he tracked. And
Chris and I just don't comprehend, like, this can be anything. Like, I'm aware that anything can be anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then, like, we're literally just sitting there, like, not even, like, picking hard. Like, we're just so confused. And that thing is on repeat for what felt like an eternity. And then I started playing what is now the verse riff to the song Nobody. And then we're like, Chris is like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I'm like, okay, this could work. And then Feldmann's like, yeah, track it.
The post chorus to Nobody is just like 4 big chords. And it's me playing 4 chords to figure out what key Feldmann sang in. And he's in front of me going, nope, not that one. Nope. And I'm like just trying to figure it out. And it's literally me going, E, G, C, A, and he's like, that's it. And then we're like, what's it? I don't even know what you're talking about. But I just hit the chords in the right order for him to get excited. And then he was like, that's the post chorus.
And then he's like bouncing around. He's like, breakdown. You know, and then so everyone's just sitting there going like, what? And then we finish it, and then he plays it back, and it's the song Nobody. And we're like, this motherfucker just Jedi mind tricked us. And we're so confused. And he's also like super adamant about he doesn't give you, or at least then, he had a policy where like he doesn't give you any demos. So you don't get demo-itis. So it's like you only listen to it in your studio. Andrew is secretly voice memoing the song when it's playing to the speakers.
Wow.
We're all in my, at the time, Honda Fit, which is now Jesse's Honda Fit.
Shout out Honda Fit.
We're all in the car leaving, and we're like, I can't believe that. I think we think we just made the best Stick to Your Guns song ever. Like, and we were about to fire this guy. And then Andrew's like, I got it on voice memo. And so we plug it in, we're blasting it, fucking chucking down 405 South, and we're like, this is fucking, and we fucking crash because
we hit a pipe or something.
There was a hose, I think.
No, it was a street light had fallen, and we fucking going 65, just fucking ramped over that motherfucker, and all these cars hit it, and everyone was like crashing and shit. And we like got out, we were like, this is fucking insane. And then we finished doing the record, and then like Nobody is.
Fuck your skateboard, bro.
Arguably the biggest.
Yeah, it's arguably the biggest song I've ever had, and it's still a song that we all love, And I think that it also like that definitely influenced us a little bit on future records or future songs. Like, this can kind of be in the world of Nobody, So it kind of opened up like a little bit more options for us sonically.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was a really.
What was? Where is the? It was a post chorus.
Yeah.
Where is the post chorus at?
Right after the chorus.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Crank it, Jay.
Or is this going to be the breakdown?
Oh yeah. It's after this.
No, it's
so now we're
rewind.
Yeah, you got to rewind
to like the first chorus.
Keep going back. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's going to come.
Yeah, listen to this part. Me trying to figure shit out.
Next one.
Hey, that scene was shot in the observatory parking lot.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Here it is.
awesome.
Here it is.
What key is he singing in? This works. So does this one. So does that one. There's your part. Record it. That's literally what it was.
And then this is the riff.
And so you had no idea what was going on. There's no line.
Well, here's
You're
the weird thing is like I'm writing the guitar part to something Feldmann sang, which later Feldmann mutes, and then Jesse sings something completely different.
Yeah,
So it's like his vocal was just a
weird.
guide to let it be anything.
yeah, it was just really weird. It was just really weird way for us to, like open
Holy
up our brain.
moly.
And
Yeah.
then what's crazy is then then I think the next day he was like, "Hey, I can tell that this is really different for you guys. Give me 2 more days of doing this, and after that, if you don't like it, we just do it however you guys want." And we said, "Great." And then I think we ended up writing 1 or 2 more songs. One song made the record, The Crown. We wrote that one, and we wrote another one that didn't make the record. And then we're like, "All right, let's cut it off because we're not writing anything that's getting us super pumped." And then we went to just doing the record the way that we typically do it. And then after we finished that, we had also never. He's the reason why we also do drums last now, because
Last.
Yes, because and it makes sense. It sounds insane, but it made total sense once he explained it to us and once we experienced it. Because once the vocals are down, the drums can just do small accents to pop melody out. You know, so if someone's like, I can make, like, ba, 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 da, na, 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 na.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and you would never do that in the beginning.
Yeah,
'cause
and you
the
could
riff-
move the guitars around
because
easy.
the riff is just da na 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 na, you know, so you never think to
Yeah.
go da na na da na.
We're
It's-
definitely a different band than you guys are.
yeah, totally.
Oh, this is crazy, man.
But then that whole recording was pretty wild because after we finished all of the pre-production, he was like, "Okay, I only want Jesse the next day," and we're like, "What?" And then
Yeah,
so
vocals first.
I remember Jesse's gone for like 10 hours, and he comes home, and I remember I had just got in bed. I'm just laying in the dark, and I hear like. And Jesse opens the door. He's like, "Josh?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you asleep?" I was like, "No." "Are you good?" He's like, "I think I just recorded the best vocals." And then I go, "Wait, what do you mean?" Like, I'm confused.
Wow.
And he goes, and I go, "You were actually recording for the record?" And he goes, "I think so. I'm not sure." And then it was the same way, all the way even through George, our old drummer. He's like, "I only want George." And George leaves, and then I like open up Instagram and I see Feldmann like post a picture of George, and he's like, 12 songs in 5 hours. This guy's a beast. And then George came home and he goes, "I don't know what I played at all." And he goes, "I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know what the fuck's going on."
Oh,
You know?
dude.
I guess we're just like a bunch of people who, I mean, I show up late to shows, and then we get put into like a hyper professional situation, and I just don't think we knew how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was a learning experience for sure. I learned a lot from Feldmann. You know, so yeah, I don't regret going to him at all. It was just definitely like he was just like, "How do you not understand how to be in a professional studio?" And we're like, "We're idiots." So yeah,
You're right. That was a full circle thing.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Whoa. So first you wanted to go home, hated it, and then it turned out one of your best songs. Or
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
biggest, yeah, depending,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on
Wow.
what you. Yeah.
And I think even with recording Keep Planting Flowers, that was what was also really cool about Beau, because Beau definitely understands how the band operates in the world that we come from, but also Beau has like definitely been part of like some very successful things, and so that was like a really cool blend.
Cool blend, huh?
You know, so he understood like how to be professional with us being unprofessional. You know.
Interesting. Wow. So is this out of curiosity? So he gave you a vocal melody
And a click track.
You guys and a click track. Your play chords over. You had no idea. There's no feeling, right? There's no feeling. You're just like trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
His melody,
that part.
I think for that part was also like dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Mhm.
yay,
Yeah,
dun,
it was
dun,
like
yeah.
it wasn't
Na, na,
anything
na,
that
na.
it wasn't anything you would hear and go like, "Hell yeah, thank you. I can't believe you wrote this for us," kind of thing.
So
it wasn't like that
It
vibe
was
at
literally
all.
like 7 5 3 5 Dun, 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 dun.
It was literally
Dun, dun,
us
dun,
looking
wait,
at
dun,
each
dun.
other too, going like, "There's no way this is gonna work. This is gonna be terrible."
Yeah.
He like does super simple shit that will just help you unlock things. I
Unlock,
think.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean? Like-
none of those that chord progressions not on that song. It's not on that record. That vocal melody's not in that song. It's not on that record.
He just provoked the spark to write the song.
yeah.
What the heck? So
Yeah.
and
Like a
then he gave Jesse something completely different. He gave you not what he's saying.
Jesse got the music that we wrote over to his vocals that no longer existed. That he wrote his vocals to a riff that he wrote that didn't exist when we wrote the music. Like it's
Yeah.
weird, yeah.
straight up Jedi mind trick shit.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to this. Wow, that's
It's pretty great, and I feel like it for sure like influenced like me personally for thinking like, oh, I have writer's block and I'm trying to work on something, and even on the new record I was like, I started a song with drums. Like I programmed out an entire song where I was like, I'm just gonna control the energy how I want it to go, and then we're gonna just dig through riffs and puzzle it together.
Yeah, that's the first track on Keep Planting Flowers.
huh.
So it's like-
at Chris's house. He's like, I got this drum beat. Let's write to that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so it's like just to like come at, like to try not to write the same shit over and over again, just come at it from a different angle.
That's a great idea because we do need people to kind of just stretch our mind.
Yeah.
Someone kind of needs to just help you stretch it, man. Like, oh, wow, okay, this is not going to sound good at all. Yeah. Then once it's done, you learn something.
Yeah,
I think that's the
exactly.
hardest part. Also, like with songwriting in general, if you're doing it your way, or you're trying somebody else is trying to provoke something in you, is to like actually have the faith of like this could be something. Like, oh, this sounds really boring, right? I mean, there's even parts on this record where I was like, that's not my favorite part. And then as soon as Jesse laid vocals down, I'm like, that's my favorite part.
Wow.
Because you
never
just
know.
don't know what it's going to be like. Or like,
no.
there's other songs that we finished. And then after we recorded, Chris did some extra production work. And then it's like, oh, this little piece of production makes the part fucking so unique and so different. And it gets me so hyped on it when I thought it was just like, a 7 out of 10. Just just a fine thing.
It's true.
It's just weird. It's just you got sometimes like biscuit. You got to have faith.
Yeah. Full circle. My favorite song from you guys is "Leave You Behind."
Oh yeah,
It's
sure.
that
sure.
record.
Yeah, Left You Behind, yeah.
So when I'm digging in like a band, I always put on Spotify. I just let it go. That song came on. I was like, oh wow, cool. And then I hear that I come across this interview of you saying about the record. So it was just kind of funny. I'm like, that song. Today I probably played it like 30 times.
No, sure. I mean, I think
I love that song.
I think what happens to labels is because we like to sing, is they then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, why don't you guys write like a more like radio accessible, that's the word, accessible song that can like have more reach to the average music listener and shit. So I think that being with Feldmann, he definitely tried to push a little bit more like rock influence things than in a way that to a place that we probably wouldn't go ourselves.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
The three of us wrote "Left You Behind." He wasn't even involved in that. "Left You Behind" is like one of the first riffs I've wrote for "Stick to Your Guns," which is
Are you
very
serious?
strange.
What the fuck?
And then I think maybe he heard that and it was like, oh, you kind of go more rock, and it started doing like.
Well, I was even thinking pre-Disobedient, like even from Hope Division to like, I think it really started on Hope Division. Is like the push to like do more like really big singy stuff. So when you brought the riff by the time to Disobedient, it was a normal thing that we had already done.
Right.
But I think because like the label at the time we're writing these other songs, they want more of that singy stuff because it's like to them the singing means like more people will listen to you, so you're gonna sell more records and all that kind of shit.
They hear
so.
singing and then they go money.
Yeah, exactly.
Money. Oh, he's singing money.
Oh,
And I
singing money.
like to sing. You know what I mean? I like to.
Yeah.
I genuinely like to sing. And so it's like, it's not that I'm against it, but I definitely think sometimes we would get pushed in certain directions to produce things that maybe we wouldn't do on our own. Not unlike Left You Behind. That's such a personal song, and like we like the riff, so it's like, yeah. But definitely don't listen to this. This is terrible.
Yeah. So you just had that intro riff.
Yeah, but I think that whenever, so like if you listen to Hope Division, there's a song called Some Kind of Hope. And it's like, we always refer to it as serious core.
Serious core. Okay.
Yeah, like, so it's like, this is like, the song's very serious and you're very sad. You know, and it's like slower.
It's emotional.
It's
like-
emo driven,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
right? But it's all screaming. So I think when I wrote that riff, I thought that Jesse would be like screaming over the whole thing.
Oh wow.
And then he was like, I
came
got
in.
And then he was like, check this out. And then I remember me and Chris were like, God, this guy's such a fucking good singer. That's great.
That's cool.
So, you know, it would be like if the song that we just released last week, the title track song off Keep Planting Flowers, called Keep Planting Flowers. It would be like if Jesse sang over that song. Like I was expecting him to scream like he does on Keep Planting Flowers. But I thought it was, I mean, obviously I thought he crushed Lefty Bound.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like this
It's a
is
beautiful
riff.
song.
This is a riff that you could think that there's going to be singing, and there's no singing in the whole song. You know? It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
all,
yeah.
It's all screaming.
Yeah. I love that. If it's like a clean riff, but there's screaming over it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's serious core. It's emotionally confusing.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Dystopia. That's sick. That's great. Anything that I missed? I think we're in an hour 45 right now.
Damn.
You got anything?
you gotta cut us
End
off.
this fucker,
You gotta
bro.
cut us off,
End
bro.
this shit.
But I want to say publicly that I have the utmost respect for all you guys and your band. Actually, I've been wanting to have you guys on for a while. You, Jesse, you're actually a very outspoken guy, and I respect people that speak their minds.
I appreciate that.
So
I appreciate that.
So anytime you want to,
It gets me into trouble a lot, so I appreciate that you can appreciate it.
yeah. Do you guys ever talk about that? Like, hey, like, do you guys ever come in and, hey, Jesse, kind of chill out, man? Or
Definitely.
Do you have like support?
Definitely. I think it's both, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I think it really hit us, and I won't even bother getting into it, but it really hit us a couple summers ago. And, you know, I think now exactly like what we were talking about, where it's like we have mortgages and families and like people rely on us, and this is our, you know, this is our income. The consequences are different from when we were missing shows. You know, when I'm pulling up to a show and saying, "Hey, Nick P, can you park my car?" or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's there's consequences now that are bigger. So it's like regardless, of course they feel like supportive of me or whatever, like thing like that.
Yeah.
But it's like now, you know, you just gotta tread more carefully, I guess. You know what I mean? Because it's like, for as much as we want to say like, yeah, hardcore is about expressing yourself, you know, it's or whatever music.
Sure.
Art is about expressing yourself. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
You know, there are lines that you know, you I guess you find them. You know what I mean? And when you cross them, it's like you find out the hard way, I guess. So
I got this from I read the former CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz. He put it in a way I was like, oh yeah, that's like, you know, someone says it. Oh, those are the words that I was looking for.
Sure.
Speaking with transparency through a tighter lens.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've done that with my band. At first I was like saying everything that was on my mind, saying everything that about the band business, and then I'll find out. I'm gonna call out Ernie real quick, but I found out the drummer is touring all of Orange County. You know,
Sure.
So I'm like, okay. So it's like, how do I speak with transparency, be myself, have my integrity, not lie, but tell someone this? You know, it's a tightrope.
No, it is. And sometimes
it is a tightrope.
you find out the hard way, but also like just from the reaction of this album and like how supportive people have been, it's like, you know, sometimes it could seem bigger than it is when it's happening, because it's like it's a big deal when it's happening, but like ultimately people come back and you can like
Yeah, time's your friend.
yeah, exactly. So we're just doing our thing and saying what we need to say, you know what I mean? And also learning sometimes maybe there's a way to say it that's not as aggressive. You know what I mean? You can say your opinion that's not so weaponized. You don't have to weaponize your opinion, I guess is the idea.
Yeah, it's scary because with your art, sometimes how you express your art. Well, I found the word spillover.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're used to screaming on stage, but when you do that on other areas,
Yeah, sure.
like something as simple as like your relationship. Like
Right.
you you gotta take your artist and kind of need to like, okay, how do I express myself not this way, but I'm having like a civil conversation. It's hard.
Totally. I mean, also
I don't
too,
have it down.
like going on tour with these dudes for months on end and then coming home to my fiance and being like, "What's up, fucking loser? What the fuck's going on?" You know what I mean? And it's just like you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, I've been on the road with the guys for a little too long. I gotta.
True. I feel you, man.
I mean, she throws it right back, and she plays hard just like I do. But sometimes you got to remember, like, some people can take that kind of shit, and then some people you need to like, you have to adjust your approach.
Everything has its time and place.
Yeah, and now everybody's there are more people that appear to be reacting instead of thinking.
Sure.
So it's like you say something or you put something out. Or
now more than ever.
Whatever, and then now it's just like instant reaction instead of being like, oh, let me think.
Yeah.
That guy's not thinking for sure.
Dude, promo.
That guy's just reacting, bro.
Promo for the new record. It's awesome. All right, so the show is tomorrow, huh?
Yep.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Excited.
Observatory, Mugshot, Warriors. Putting the Warriors, that's awesome.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's
pumped.
dope.
I watched them play the For the Children Festival in Los Angeles 2 years ago.
Last year.
No, because last year just happened.
Oh, sorry, 2023. My bad.
God, what a fucking cool band.
Yeah.
They're awesome, man.
When that War is Hell record came out,
Yeah.
that was something where you went, this is different.
Yeah, it was special.
Yeah,
as
they
fuck.
got like
Monumental.
cool riffs.
And then I was playing this band Evergreen Terrace and Casey Jones, and we flew to California to do the Eulogy Records West Coast tour, and it started at Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
And the lineup was Warriors, Donnybrook, maybe Shattered Realm, Casey Jones, Evergreen, and Until the End. And I remember watching the Warriors play that night, and like Singer came out with a hoodie on, and like the hood was up, and they started, and the crowd, and I was like, this is the coolest sounding thing. Like that record is so unique.
Yeah.
So super stoked to watch them tomorrow.
That's gonna be sick. Well, thank you guys for your time, especially with the with what's going on in California currently. I respect your band a lot, and again, thank you for what you did for Mitch. I really
Of course, brother.
appreciate it. I'm telling you, I felt like a coward for like years. Dude, I couldn't even go to their room and to say thank you. Like, man, you're fucking pussy, dude.
Dude, no.
Let go of that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
years.
I can understand it. If I was in your position, I could see myself feeling the same way. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta go through when you gotta go through it. You know what I'm saying? So
It's true.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they call it growing up.
Exactly.
Growing up. Okay, so new record's out now. It's either gonna drop next Monday or the Monday after. So yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Again, guys, thank you, Honor.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Good
man.
luck, guys. Handshake
Hell yeah,
all around. Love. Thank you.
Of course,
Appreciate
brother.
it, guys. All right, everyone. That's it. Later.
Peace.